In this presentation, we are going to look at a matrix multiplication, and in particular a 3 by 3 dimensional matrix multiplication. So, let's look at our question here. So, given the following adjacency matrices A, B, and C, in particular, this question is one half, the second half of a question. It only is we're only looking at the second part of the question, multiply C times B. So we're going to disregard A. So we're just looking at B and C only. What is the dimension of B and what is the dimensions of C? Well, this is 2 rows and 3 columns, so it's a 2 by 3 matrix. This has 3 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 3 by 2 matrix. And what we were asked to do is calculate C times B. So first off, what we have to do is just double check, is such a calculation possible? So 3 by 2 by 2 by 3 is sort of just what we're looking at here. What we have to do is determine, is the number of columns of the first matrix equal to the number of rows of the second matrix? If that's not the case, then you cannot do the multiplication. But here they are actually equal to each other, so we can continue with our calculation. What is the outcome going to? What is the dimensions of the outcome? It's actually the number of rows of the first matrix times the number of columns of the second matrix. So it's actually going to be a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, so it's a 3 by 3 matrix. So what we're going to do in the first instance is, what I'm going to do is go to a new page, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start setting out the calculation. So I'm going to do a very large table there. So I'm going to have 1, and I'm going to leave a blank space for multiplication, minus 2, 1, leave a blank space, minus 2. It's actually the top row of C that I'm looking at, and I'm leaving in after each coefficient room for another coefficient to be multipliable there, to be multiplied. Okay, going to do the same thing for the middle row. 4 plus 3, 4 plus 3, again leaving a space, and 0 plus 5, 0 plus 5, 0 plus 5. Now what I'm going to do, so I have it set out, what I'm going to do in each case now is I am going to, those are the columns, in each case what I'm going to do is put in the values, those are the values from each column. So the value for the first column of B will go in here, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. The value from the second column of B will go in the middle here, minus 3, 0, minus 3, 0, minus 3, 0, and then finally 7 and 2, 7 and 2, 7 and 2. So essentially all we have to do now is evaluate those. So minus 2, 1 times 2, minus 2 times 1, that's 2 minus 2, that gives us 0. The answer to this one is minus 3 minus 2 times 0, that's simply minus 3. 7, 1 times 7 minus 2 times 2, that just gives us 3. 4 times 2 plus 3 times 1, that gives us 11. 4 times minus 3, that is 12, plus 3 times 0, that's just 0, so we end up with minus 12. This is the largest value here. This is 4 times 7 is 28, plus 3 times 2, that's 6, so altogether that's 34. 0 times 2, 0, plus 5 times 1, that gives us 5. Minus 3 times 0 plus 5 times 0, that's 0. And 0 times 7 plus 5 times 2, that gives us 10. So we have our answer now. I'm just going to write it out again on the next slide. So the answer, again, is 0 minus 3, 3, 11 minus 12, 34, 5, 0, and 10. Okay, that ends our presentation.